After the White Lotus and Sirens, Meghann Fahy's next TV show continues a great 3-year career trend. What if I told you one actress may have unlocked the secret formula behind every viral mystery show of the decade? What if the true power behind Netflix's newest obsession isn't the cult, the billionaire, or the island, but her? And what if her next role could shatter everything you thought you knew about good and evil? Stay with me, because Meghann Fahy is no longer just playing characters. She's rewriting the rules of television, one forbidden secret at a time. Because what you're about to discover isn't just a story about a rising star. It's about a 3-year-long pattern hiding in plain sight. And her next move is not just another show. It's a test of how deep we're willing to go, of how blind we've become, of how much truth we can actually handle. And yet, most people will miss it. Will you? Let's rewind. 3 years ago, Meghann Fahy was just another name in a crowded Hollywood lineup. Talented? Sure. Recognizable? Maybe. But then, something shifted. She didn't chase fame the way others did. She didn't rely on PR stunts or scandal. Instead, she disappeared into stories. Dark ones, twisted ones. Stories where the truth was never what it seemed. It started with the White Lotus. One role, one season, one unforgettable performance. Daphne wasn't just a wife. She was a cipher, a question, a riddle disguised in blonde ambition. Audiences couldn't stop talking about her, not because they understood her, but because they couldn't. And just like that, Fahy became the face of mystery. But that was only the beginning. In 2024, she returned with the perfect couple. Murder, deception, glamour, and Fahy, once again, was at the center of it all, playing Merritt Monaco, a woman with more secrets than smiles. Critics were divided. Was the show brilliant or predictable? But audiences didn't care, because they weren't watching for the story anymore. They were watching her. And just when you thought the pattern would fade, Sirens dropped on Netflix, and everything exploded. This time, she wasn't just playing a woman trapped in a lie. She was playing a woman trying to uncover one. Devon searching for her sister, an island, a cult, a billionaire, a woman named Michaela. It was rich with subtext, heavy with symbolism, and once again, we couldn't look away. But here's where things get interesting. Sirens wasn't just a hit. It was designed to be one. Because by now, Fahy had cracked the code. She'd built a brand, a persona, the beautiful truth seeker, the damaged sister, the woman who always walks into the fire and never leaves the same. Her next project is called The Good Daughter. But make no mistake, this is not a redemption story. This is a return to pain. This is where her 3-year streak reaches its darkest chapter yet. Based on the best-selling book by Karin Slaughter, The Good Daughter isn't just a thriller. It's a slow descent into trauma, into what happens after the crime, after the cameras fade, after the headlines forget. Because Charlotte Quinn and her sister Samantha, they aren't just survivors. They're broken reflections of the same tragedy, still bleeding in different ways. 2 sisters, 1 murder, a lifetime of silence. And guess who's playing Charlotte? Meghann Fahy. Now, pause and think. Why her? Why is she chosen again and again to embody these fractured women? The ones with perfect faces and impossible pasts? Because there's a formula, not for success, but for emotional destruction. Fahy doesn't play characters. She plays mirrors. She becomes what we don't want to admit we recognize. The girl who survived something but never really left it behind. The sister who stayed but resents you for it. The woman who smiles but never, ever forgets. And in The Good Daughter, that mirror shatters completely. This isn't just another thriller. This is a story of what happens when the mask slips entirely. And maybe, just maybe, we were the ones wearing it all along. Why does this keep working? Why does Meghann Fahy again and again lead the shows we can't stop watching? Is it talent? Sure. Is it timing? Maybe. But that's just the surface. Because if you track the pattern across The White Lotus, The Perfect Couple, Sirens, and now The Good Daughter, you'll see something far more unsettling. Each series is a trap, not just for the characters, for you, the viewer, the witness, the addict. Each show begins with a simple premise, a murder, a disappearance, a lie. But slowly, methodically, they pull you into something else. Not crime, not mystery, but emotional manipulation. You're not watching who did it. You're watching who it breaks. And each time, Fahy is the vessel, the lightning rod.
They're unraveling, piece by piece, layer by layer, until what's left isn't a woman, it's a wound, dressed in pearls. Daphne in The White Lotus smiled through suspicion. Merritt in The Perfect Couple smiled through grief. Devon in Sirens smiled through madness. And now Charlotte? She won't smile at all, because The Good Daughter removes the final illusion. No paradise, no beach, no mystery billionaire, just trauma, unfiltered, undeniable. The book it's based on is not entertainment. It's a mirror held to every buried scar you hoped would fade. A home invasion, a mother's death, 2 daughters caught in the wreckage. And 20 years later, that wreckage comes back. But the question isn't who did it. The question is, who did we become when it happened? And who did we pretend to be just to survive it? Now here's where it gets dangerous. Because this trend, this streak of mystery miniseries led by women with shattered pasts, it's not random, it's a template. A Hollywood algorithm disguised as prestige drama. They sell it as female empowerment, as layered storytelling, as representation. But peel back the curtain, and what do you find? The monetization of female pain. Every miniseries, every trailer, every poster. It's all just a new mask on the same face. Watch her suffer, beautifully. But Meghann Fahy doesn't resist this formula. She weaponizes it. She takes the role and amplifies it, pushes it deeper, turns it from exploitation into exposure. Because she knows you're not really watching to be entertained. You're watching to feel something you're not allowed to admit. Not in public, not to your friends, not even to yourself. But she knows. She sees the part of you that's still standing in a burning house, whispering, "I'm fine." Building to final page, The Good Daughter's true purpose. So when The Good Daughter premieres, don't expect closure. Don't expect clarity. Expect something worse. Because this time, the trauma isn't just backstory. It's front and center. It's the story. And when it hits, it won't feel like fiction. Because the Quinn sisters aren't just characters. They're archetypes, designed to echo through your own memory. One remembers everything. The other forgets on purpose. One hides in books. The other in silence. One left the town. The other never really left the past. And when they
And that's the final pattern. Each show Fahy leads begins with disconnection and ends with revelation. Not of who the killer is, but of what we were too scared to say, too numb to feel, too busy to remember. Now step back, zoom out. Look at the past 3 years like a map, and draw a red thread through each of Meghann Fahy's roles. You'll find a hidden arc, a narrative blueprint crafted with surgical precision. The White Lotus, The Perfect Couple, Sirens, and soon, The Good Daughter. 4 chapters, 4 masks, each more fractured than the last. But here's the secret nobody's catching. These shows were never about crime. They were about containment, containing rage, containing grief, containing the unbearable. Each miniseries is a box, beautifully wrapped, where female pain is dissected and sold, 1 episode at a time. But Meghann Fahy isn't just surviving inside that box, she's setting it on fire. One glance at her characters and you'll feel it. That unspoken fury, hidden behind every soft smile. The smile that says, "You think I'm weak? Watch what happens next." That's why her performances linger. Not because she solves the mystery, but because she is the mystery. Look closely at how she plays them. She doesn't shout, she doesn't plead, she withholds. Every word is deliberate. Every look is a landmine. And when she finally breaks, it's not chaos, it's calculation. Because somewhere between the trauma flashbacks, the trust issues, the betrayals, and the missing persons reports, there's a coded message being delivered. 1 role at a time. And here it is. You don't have to explode to be dangerous. That's the power of her performances. They creep, they whisper, they linger in your mind days later when you're brushing your teeth, wondering, why did that scene hit me like that? Why do I feel like I've lived it? Why does she feel so real? Because maybe she's playing you. Not your life exactly, but your silence, your numbness, your buried thing you never unpacked. And through characters like Daphne, Merritt, Devon, and soon, Charlotte, she's forcing us all to look at it. You think the producers don't know what they're doing? They do. They found a formula that works. Take a sharp, intuitive actress, cast her in trauma-wrapped elegance, put her in a miniseries with a high-gloss murder, and let her quietly unravel. Then rake in the views, sell the soundtrack. But what they didn't expect is that she's also the glitch. Because while they're scripting stories of survival, she's delivering revolutions in disguise. Every time her character refuses to explain herself, every time she chooses ambiguity over clarity, every time she smiles instead of screams, she's challenging the structure, not just of the story, of the system. So what will The Good Daughter reveal? The obvious answer: more pain, more tension, more mystery. But beneath that, it's a warning. Because this time, the character she plays, Charlotte, doesn't want to be saved. She wants the truth. Not justice, not closure, just truth. Even if it destroys everything she has left. And maybe that's the evolution we've been waiting for. From Daphne's denial, to Merritt's defense, to Devon's descent, now to Charlotte's reckoning. It's not just a role, it's a statement. I'm not here to entertain you. I'm here to remember what you forgot. So when that first episode drops, watch carefully. Because you're not just watching her, she's watching you. This is how she does it. How she lures you in. Not with volume, not with scandal, but with silence, with precision, with pain. So let the others chase noise, chase headlines, chase relevance. Meghann Fahy, she chases ghosts and lets them speak through her face. And now, the next ghost is coming. It's wrapped in a book. It's shadowed in a past. It's called The Good Daughter, and it's about to make everything else look like a warm-up. So now you know, and now you can't unknow, because the mystery isn't in the shows. The mystery is her. And if you don't believe that, then ask yourself one last question. Why are you still here? Still listening? Still haunted?